Hi again, everyone. This is the third session. I'll try to pick up where we were, which was basically the articulation of consonants. So we've now seen what the main organs are, how they work, and how you articulate consonants. So the next steps is vowels, obviously. Now, let's see. So there are many types of vowels. The main vowels are usually called simple vowels, in German einfache Vokale, and in vowels are, generally speaking, the most sonorous part of a syllable. And syllables are structured around vowels, which are the nucleus of the syllable. Vowels are pronounced, as we mentioned, basically in the vocal tract and above the glottis. And the main articulator for vowels is the tongue, or the body of the tongue, but there's also a little bit of involvement of the lips. And simple vowels basically are homogeneous throughout the articulation. They have the same quality throughout. Here are some examples of simple vowels in English words. I will say, I'm a Spanish speaker, vowels are very hard for me to get right. So I won't try for the most part to do them. If you're a German speaker, you already are able to pronounce many more vowels than I am. But the main point here is to understand how vowels work, how you articulate them, and how to describe them. Now, so there are basically two main dimensions to vowels and how they work, and they are the horizontal and vertical dimension. In the horizontal dimension, we make reference to frontness and backness. This is a very common cross-sectional cut of the mouth of a speaker, and we usually orient these pictures with the lips to the left of the picture. So here are your lips, this is your nasal cavity, and here's the tongue. So as I mentioned at the beginning, vowels are basically articulated with the tongue, with some involvement of the lips, and in some cases also of the velum. But let's start with the tongue. Basically, depending on where you put the body of the tongue, whether it's in front of the mouth or in the back of the mouth, the quality of the vowel changes. And the other dimension is the vertical dimension. So whether the body is low or high, and this can combine, right? So you have front low vowels, front high vowels, low back vowels, and back high vowels. Here are a couple of examples of how you would articulate some vowels. This is an E, this is an A, this is an U, and you see the movement of the tongue, that it goes to different positions to articulate each vowel. These are just diagrams. I highly recommend that you at this point pause the video and go check this other YouTube video, because you will see the whole range of articulations in an fMRI and how speakers move their tongue to pronounce the different vowels. To represent the vocal tract in a more abstract manner, we usually use a trapezoid system like this, which basically represents the vowel space. And this is a sort of idealized space where we can represent primary and secondary vowels, and these are basically the cardinal vowels depending on the position where they are, and we have 8 of them, and they are described basically by the factors I mentioned. So whether they're front, central, or back, close, which is high, close mid, which you can also call mid high, then mid low, which is mid open, open, which is the same as low vowels. I'll mostly use open and high and close mid or open mid to make reference to them, but they are also called close and open. All right, so we have many symbols for vowels, and each vowel gets a different symbol. These are the most important ones. These are the primary vowels. Again, I won't speak them because yeah. So let's see how they sound. So here's the complete picture of all vowels. The cardinal vowels will start with E.
E, E, A, O, U.
Right. So those are the cardinal vowels, and it's worth that you learn at least these 8 symbols for vowels. It's sort of important. And the other dimension for vowels is whether they are rounded or unrounded. Of the cardinal vowels, the 4 front vowels and this one low back vowel are unrounded, and these 3 back vowels are rounded. Now, that doesn't mean that these are all the vowels. There are, for each rounded vowel, we have an unrounded one. Here you see a fuller picture. So these are the unrounded ones to the left, and to the right we represent the rounded version of it. And the same for the back vowels. We can hear the round vowels now.
U,
Right, and the rounded here.
O,
And the corresponding unrounded vowels in this case.
A,
Right. So this is basically the complete vowel space. I don't think that there's any language which uses all vowels. Languages, okay, most languages use 5 vowels. The 5 most common vowels in the world's languages are E, U, a vowel in this place which is an A, and vowels here in the middle which are E and O. And this is basically the Spanish system. It's very, very common. There are also quite a few languages which only use 3, which are E, U, and A. So one thing you might notice is that languages usually tend to optimize the vowel space to keep the contrast as far away from each other as possible. So it's very rare for a language to, for example, have only 3 vowels, but the 3 vowels are these 3 here. That doesn't happen because that doesn't optimize the vowel space. You want to keep the contrasts in the language as separate from each other as possible. As far as I am aware, the languages with the most vowels are Germanic languages. English and German are high up there with over 16 vowels each, more or less, depending on how you count on the dialect. But that's relatively rare. We can hear the other vowels. It's interesting, I guess. Yeah, these are the vowels here in this part. So are the most central ones. This is a special one. It's called a schwa. Most languages have it, or quite a few languages have it. Some others don't. It's quite common in Germanic languages, so you might be familiar with. And this one cannot be rounded. So it's just the most relaxed type of vowel with the tongue in a what you could call a neutral position.
O,
Okay, so that's for articulation and production of vowels. So to the description, as I mentioned, we have 3 dimensions: whether the lips are rounded or not, the vertical dimension, and the horizontal dimension. And with these 3 criteria, we can describe all the vowels we just saw. There are some additional things that can come in addition to this, but these criteria are the most important ones and the ones you should learn. So, for example, here we have some IPA symbols for vowels, and yeah, so E is a rounded front closed vowel, and A is an unrounded back open vowel, etc. Now, the second part of vowels are diphthongs, and diphthongs are basically a long vowel which changes quality throughout its articulation. There are 3 main types of diphthongs plus another one. The 3 main types are centering, closing diphthongs, and opening diphthongs. And then you have backening and fronting diphthongs. We'll come to those in a second. And this basically describes what's going on with the quality of the vowel. So here are a couple of examples. These are English diphthongs like dear and rare and cheer and where. You have some closing diphthongs also in English. And the idea of a closing diphthong is that the vowel starts in a more open position and it goes to a more closed position. So from to E and I to E, so way and tie, by and tail. And opening diphthongs are the other way around. So you start in a very closed position and then you go to a more open position. So ya and yo, like in tierra and radio. Ignore this is a mistake in the slides. It's probably easier to visualize this way with the trapezoid system. Here we have some opening diphthongs. So you start from a closed position in an E, a W, and the vowel quality changes to a more open one. So ya, right? The closing diphthongs are the opposite. You start from a very open position and you end up in a more closed position with the tongue. Centering diphthongs, they basically bring the vowel towards the center. You can start either in an open or in a closed position. In a closed or in an open position, but the result is in the center of the vowel space. And you also have fronting and backening diphthongs, and this is just what it says. You start, here's the best example, we or you start either in the back and end in the front, or you start in the front and end in the back. And that's basically what produces the diphthong. Another aspect of vowels is tenseness or length, and basically tense vowels are produced with the placement of the tongue that results in more constriction, and it's therefore longer, and we indicate length of the vowels with this symbol here. It's not quite a double like a colon, it's not a colon exactly, but these are small triangles, and this indicates a long vowel. And lax vowels are the opposite. They are shorter and have less constriction in the tongue and its tract. So one exercise that you will have to do is to describe either simple vowel symbols or to find the symbols for descriptions. So try to do this one. Right, so these are the descriptions for the symbols. This is a rounded front closed vowel, this is an unrounded front closed mid vowel, etc. And if we tell you write a symbol for an unrounded central open mid vowel, then this is the correct symbol. More important than you being able to memorize the symbols is to be able to look at the vowel space, look at the symbols, and from the vowel space be able to recognize them. So if you're interested in seeing more examples of phonetic transcription, you can check out O'Grady's et al. Book. There are many examples that we will not focus in this course on teaching you phonetic transcription. It is useful if you practice listening to the sounds. You don't have to memorize them all. You just need to learn and memorize how the tables work. So in the exam, you'll be able to see a table like this, and we may ask you questions about the vowels. So for example, give a full description of this vowel. You don't have to memorize how it sounds, but you have to understand what each of these dimensions means, and also the rounding of the lips. If things are still very confusing, you should look at this. It's an additional video giving some explanations with an fMRI, which is very useful. So, as I mentioned, there is also the idea of doing transcriptions, and the point of transcriptions is that you transcribe how words sound, not how they are spelled. Here are some examples of transcriptions. You can see that the actual pronunciation of the word is quite different from the spelling. And to learn to do transcriptions, it takes some time and effort, but you don't need to learn to for this class. However, what will be very useful for you is to learn to do the opposite. So we might give you a transcription like thick, and you have to figure out what the word is. And here are some examples. Try to do them on your own, and if you have questions, you can send them to either the tutors or to me. So here are the solutions. And that's basically it for vowels. Thank you for your attention, and see you in the next one.